So obviously this is principally for us in relation to the United Kingdom or any part of the United Kingdom, the devolved administrations, a human issue and a business issue. When you look at a lot of the reporting that is going on about destinations like Portugal and Spain, it's about holidays and tourism. But the connections between Gibraltar and each of the kingdoms of the United Kingdom is really about more than that. It's about the human relationships, the business relationships. Of course, in particular in relation to Wales, and in this particular month of the year, it's about our students going to Welsh Universities, and that's what's causing us concern and why we're in very close contact with the public health authorities in the DA that is Wales.
What about government to government in Wales?
So there is contact already between the Office of the First Minister of Wales and my office. The important thing that I want to get across to the Welsh administration is the work that's being done in Gibraltar and how the extrapolation of figures in Gibraltar on the 100 per 100,000 basis really does throw up numbers which make very little sense. Look, if you were to look at our testing on a per 100,000 basis, indeed on a per million basis, we've tested more than 1 million per million, and we are one of the, I think 4 or 5 countries in the world to have achieved that. So really the numbers when it comes to small states like Gibraltar are very unfairly viewed if extrapolated over 100,000. We need to get this message across. That's work that's also being done by colleagues in London in the Foreign Office who have been able to get this message across to many of parts of Whitehall that are making these decisions. Indeed, we're in very close contact, and I'm in personal direct contact with the First Minister of Scotland and the First Minister of Northern Ireland on these issues. And I expect to be in direct contact also with the First Minister of Wales soon.
Well, some of those students will go back to sharing accommodation. What would happen there? They can't really go back to self-isolation, can they?
Well, this is part of the issue that we are putting to the Welsh administration, that a lot of the people now going back to Gibraltar, or rather going back to Wales from Gibraltar, or going to Wales for the first time from Gibraltar, are going into exactly those circumstances, which would be very difficult indeed, and will not give business efficacy to the way that our students are usually received in Wales, and the work that they need to do as students in enrolling in their university on time, etc. So this is causing, in our view, unnecessary difficulty in a way that is not going to be designed to have the principal effect, the effect through which, for example, we legislate, which is purely to address the issue of stopping the spread of COVID-19.
Chief Minister, if I can change the subject and take you to yesterday's meeting in Madrid on the future relationship, what can you tell us of that?
Well, I said it was positive, and I said that there were areas of agreement and areas of disagreement, but we're in the middle of a negotiation. I think it's helpful for me to set out what is happening in the negotiation as if there were a camera in the negotiating room. That's not how negotiations work. I would that we lived in a world where that was possible. I'll be briefing the Cabinet on Monday morning. We're going to be doing some work over the weekend on the details of what it is that we've been discussing and to further analysis. I'll be briefing the Leader of the Opposition also on Monday afternoon, and I expect Ms Hassan Naun also Monday afternoon, so that all of our parliamentarians have the picture of what is happening, and we can test also some of the concepts that we want to put in the next round with those who will be briefing on Monday.
You've mentioned briefing the Cabinet. Do you envisage any problems internally? We know that you and Joe Vassano may not see eye to eye on all issues. Yesterday, the Leader of the Opposition, Keith Asapari, spoke of calling for a referendum. Do you expect any problems at home?
No, not at all. Look, let me tell you, I don't think that you've properly characterised what Mr Bossano said. Mr Bossano reacted to a question put to him, which actually textually set out the opposite of what I had said. So Mr Bossano disagreed with what was put to him rightly, because I would have disagreed with what was put to him, because it wasn't what I said. Joe Bossano, Jose Garcia, Gilbert Goody, who has now left the Cabinet, all of the members of the Cabinet, we're all on exactly the same page on these issues. We have the same objectives. I've been negotiating on the basis of the mandate given to me by the Cabinet, which is the mandate that I sought. I've been briefing the Leader of the Opposition. The Leader of the Opposition has said the same thing that I said in the context of an interview with the Gibraltar Chronicle, which is that anything which affects constitutional change or status change will have to go to a referendum. So I'm afraid you're trying to find disagreement where there isn't. Let's be very clear about something. Any negotiation that I lead will not involve any concession on sovereignty, jurisdiction, or control. The hawks are in charge in Gibraltar today, and there's going to be absolutely no concessions whatsoever.